I told God I want a divorce from all the men that have ever touched me, that have ever had access to me, ever in my life. I don't want any residue of any man ever. Welcome to Heart Healer TV. I'm your host, Shatrice. If you're making your way to this channel, then you already know we have 4 things that we are working on. We want to kill the uns in our life. We want to practice life mastery skills, and it requires a level of awareness. Okay? You have to become aware of what's going on internally, on the inside of you. And when you become aware, make steps, routines. We create a system so you can get out of it. Or when you're triggered by it, you know how to move around it, move through it, right? And not hide, not settle, right? Not live mediocre and miserable. That's what we're doing today. Now, I'm going to share a story with you of the time when I asked God for a divorce. I've never been physically married. I've never been in a courthouse with a man at the altar in a dress, all these things. I've never actually been seriously proposed to. And I say seriously because, there are some things have happened, but not a serious proposal. I've never had that. Now, okay, intrusive thoughts. So now, last year, I asked God for a divorce. Now, what prompted me to ask for this divorce? Things were happening inside of me emotionally that I was not able to account for fully. And although I find myself to be a quite observant person, a person who's quite aware of themselves and others, for some reason, there was just something imbalanced. There was something happening. And I actually said it to my girlfriend in a joking way that I said, I told God I want a divorce from all the men that have ever touched me, that have ever had access to me, ever in my life. I don't want any residue of any man ever. None of them. Nobody. Only God, my Father. That's it. That's the only residue I want. I don't want any man because something is going on and I'm just not feeling regulated. Now, the things that come out of your mouth, when they come from God, there's nothing wasted. I don't care if you did it 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you wrote something, you took a picture of something, you started something, but it never fully took off. I don't care what it is. If it comes from God, He will find a way to bring it all back around for you and put it all together on one puzzle. That's how He works. That's how He's worked in my life. It's not a coincidence that I was feeling this internal disruption that I said out of my mouth, I want a divorce. I just literally, I want a divorce. Had that conversation with God, joked about it with my girlfriend. From that time to this time, right now, I'm currently editing a book that I was writing from that during that time. And as I'm having the book edited, I was looking at something in it. And in the book, I wrote, I want a divorce. I was telling the story. It's no coincidence. It's not a coincidence that I'm sitting in front of you and telling you the rest of the story now. It's no coincidence. So you think that there would be plenty men. There would be anyone who had ever had access to me, right? Whether he kissed me, whether I had sex with him, it didn't matter. Whether he touched me, whether he, had access to my mind and I could hear his voice. I was trapped in. I wanted all residue of any man. I wanted it gone. God revealed to me that it was only one man. How do I know that it was only this one man? When, as a woman, as a girl, when you're a young girl, there is a part of you that when you are connected to somebody, when you lock in with somebody in an intimate way, there is a part that when you become intimate with somebody, that thing is trapped in your soul. That thing becomes embedded in your soul. And you're locked in a way that is so, it's magical. Now, you could forget about it over the years, right? Because when he revealed who the person was, I had not seen this person in nearly 20 years. I've spoken to them off and on the phone. I hadn't physically seen them, though, in about 20 years. And I never cried. I never cried over a man. I never was, like, yeah, I was sad at times over my life, but not like crying, oh my God, he left me and all the, no, I'm not doing all that. It's a man. And if you understand what it is, I mean, I don't need to say what should be already understood. It's a man. So my mindset back then was go get another man. That's it. It's a man. I'm a woman. Come on. We're not going to go there. So I never cried over one. Now, being that this man and I were talking on the phone every now and again, we have conversations, um, I don't know, God just kept telling me, release him, release him. Release him. No, you're not going to see him, but release him. No, you're not really doing anything, but release him. And I sent this man a message. I texted him and I said, can I talk to you? You have time to talk? Call me. And immediately as I sent the text message, I started, listen, not crying, sobbing. I have the picture, but because the internet is not nice, I'm not going to post that picture. I was sobbing. My eyes were like little grapes. And guess what? I cried for 24 hours. I cried so much that I fell asleep, woke up crying, went back to sleep, woke up crying again, went back to sleep, and God just comforted me through the whole night. 24 hours. I cried when the text message was released. I cried when he called me back immediately. And I shared with him as best as I could without saying whatever it is, God told me, and I went through all these things. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't even go through all that. I just said what was on my heart. I wished him the best. And I had to release the man from me. I had to release him. Now, everything that God asks you to do, he confirms it himself. He confirms it himself. Okay. I also want to preface this by saying the man was not a bad man. I don't know that. I don't know what was in the man's heart. I don't know that he was a bad man. That's not my experience. But I am on a trajectory to do what God is asking me to do, to become who he has already designed me to be. I am walking in that place. And when you're doing that, sometimes the things that you're doing seem very strange to other people, and they will try to make you feel like you're out of pocket, you're out of place. And listen, this is why this community has to be here, because you are not out of place. You are not out of pocket. You are trying to be obedient to what God is telling you to do, and it will not make sense to others. It didn't make sense to this man that I call him and tell him I can no longer speak with you. I can no longer deal with you. I couldn't do that. I mean, I can't do that. It makes no sense to him. Why? He hadn't done anything wrong to me. But my father is telling me something. I gotta listen. I gotta do it. Okay. How did he confirm to me? Now, so a friend of mine many, many years ago told me take 48 hours, cry, and then move on. And that's a technique that I've used. So really, when the hardest things are hitting me, it literally takes me 48 hours to deal emotionally, like allow myself to like fully manage my emotions, whatever it is. If I'm crying, if I'm not doing anything but bawling all day and laying in my bed, whatever it is, I take the full 48 hours and I just allow myself that emotional process. It, it, I've done it for so many different things, for deaths, um, just my own personal griefs and disappointments, and move forward. And to cry full 24 hours for this spiritual marriage that I have, for someone who I loved, who I didn't even know that I still held in my soul like that. I didn't know that. But the way in which I cried, the way in which I released, the way I looked to God to comfort me, I knew then that this man was locked in my soul for nearly 20 years. And I hadn't even seen him. I had not even seen him. And we only just started talking back over the phone. It's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Now, how did God confirm for me? After 24 hours now, I decide I'm going to go and watch something on YouTube. This old Juanita Bynum from like the early 90s popped up. Now, I'm not here to talk about, who she is and what she is and all this other stuff. I don't know anything about that. All I know is I listen and look for the pattern of how God is speaking to me season to season. And in this season, He has used messages from various people over the years. I mean, they just been popping up. People that I just don't even listen to on a normal basis. They would just pop up with a specific message, with a specific title or something, and feed me a word. And then that's it. And in that moment, it was a Juanita Bynum video from like the 90s, like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. And the first thing to do, as soon as I turned it on, she was like, no, no, no. This is how she's talking. She's on a huge stage and she's delivering a message to have to be thousands. And she's like, no, 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 no. This is go with me to this text. Go with me to this text. And then she said, no, 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 no. That's not the text. That's not the text. That's not the text. Go to Revelations 19:7-8. Revelations 19:7-8. I got a message for you. This is a message from God. I got a message for you. And listen, I don't know. I just picked up my Bible. I go to Revelations 19:7-8. Look, this same Bible, my grandma gave it to me, right? Come on. And when I open it, what does it say? Let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her it was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. I even wrote at the top of the Bible, God granted me a divorce sometime between May and June. On June 18th, He solidified our marriage. 2024, verse 7 and 8. I make little notations like that all through my Bible, so remind me. We're going to talk about this one later. There's going to be another one. And I knew that I had not heard wrong, that my mind was clear, that I was operating on a God level. What does that mean? That means that I work in tandem with God. I am his physical manifestation in the earth. I am here to do my Father's work. And anytime I'm outside of doing my Father's work, I'm in chaos. I'm in mental chaos. I cannot find my way through. I'm having a hard time making my way through. Now, let me share this. God has been representing himself to me for the last nearly 20 years since I said to him, like, I love you, but this is the last thing. If you don't tell me like who you are and what this whole thing is about, I'm sick of all these religions. I'm sick of all this foolishness. If you don't come and talk to me and tell me what all this is about, I'm done. From that time to this time, oh man, he took that as a real challenge. He said, oh yeah, let me show you who I am. And first he came to me and he showed me that he was God. He is creator. So he said things like, you are good. I made you. I'm not here to condemn you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge you. No, 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 no. If you believe in me, you have everlasting life. I did not send my son in the world to condemn you, but that through him, you have everlasting life. That's what he said to me. And he said, you are good. And he kept talking to me like that. I don't want to hear about what you was doing. No, 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 no. You are the apple of my eye. I made you for a specific work. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light in the world. Every time I would say something, you are my child. What weapon can prosper against you? My child. I made you. That's how he kept talking to me. So he presented himself to me first as God. Yeah, I am. So much so that I started calling him. I was like, I am, and then I'll answer myself back and be like, yes, Shatrice. Don't. I'm fun. I'm a riot. So don't let you two fool you. Okay? I was like, I am. And I was like, yes, Shatrice. Yeah. Because I also need to reprogram myself on how I'm seeing God. I need to get into what He telling me. He and I need our relationship. I know He was laughing. He has to laugh. Why? Because I laugh. Where did laughing come from? If I'm creating His image and I'm laughing, where did laughing come from? Okay, so I know He was laughing. Anyway, and then after He showed me that He was God and He was created, then He showed me that He's my Father. And what do fathers do? Good fathers. Good fathers. What do good fathers do? They provide for their children. They protect their children, right? They also chastise. They're not above, you know, delivering some, what they call tough love, right? They speak kindly to their children. That's how he was dealing with me. So then he showed himself as my father, and that's how I started calling him. I wanted a name that I had not used on with any man here, because my imagery, my thought on what man is, or what father is here, with my earthly representations have been, tainted. They're unbalanced. They're not all good and everything. And so I wanted a name that only he and I have reference for, familiarity with. So I started calling him Baba. I call him Abba, but Abba seems so far from me. Baba seems like somebody I'm calling on the phone, like right there, or I'm coming to the house. Like, Baba, I'm stopping by. Baba, I'm sad today. I want a hug or something. You know? And so I called him Baba. And that gave us another language because he's my dad. He's my father. And then when he gave me that text, Revelations 19:7 and 8, I knew that I had entered another level of relationship with him. And now he says he's my husband. I want you to think about that. God represented himself to me as creator, father, and then put something in my spirit where I want to say, I want a divorce. I mean, I literally just yelled it like that. I want a divorce. And then I wrote it in a book. And then I did the act of releasing from this man who I don't have any bad experience with the man. But I was obedient to what my father was telling me to do. And then he confirms it with that message and he says, yes, now you my wife. Now you my wife. Oh my God. Relationship is crazy. You're not going to have this, you following some religious order. I'm telling you right now, I grew up in church. I was there all the time. I was in the choir school, I was in the choir practice. I sang the solos. I had the groups. I did the spelling bees. I ran track for the conference. I did all kind of stuff. I'm telling you, I was there every day. My grandmother was the choir director. I was there every day. And then I went to a Christian private school. Come on. And then I went to a Catholic high school. I've been around this thing. And I'm telling you, you're not going to get this level of relationship following religious order. No, because it's personal. It's the same thing when you meet your child for the first time. You have to spend time with the child so you can get to know this child. You meet a spouse, you meet a person for the first time, and you have to get to know the person. It's a relationship. And as you get to know, they reveal more and more of themselves, layer for layer for layer. Now just imagine that you're in a relationship with God and He is pulling back the layers. He knows you. It's you who's getting to know you. It's you who's trying to release from the old version that won't let you go. It's you. God is like, I know you. God is like, I know you. Come, let me tell you about who you are. Come, let me teach you why I designed you and what you're supposed to be doing in the earth. Come, leave that, leave them. Come on, come on. So I got a divorce that day. Now, did I do everything perfectly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why? Because I'm a human being. I'm a human being full of emotions. I'm a human being who is learning how to be this person. I've never been fully her before. I've never been fully her before. And God gives me grace for that. He makes room for that. So I want you to think about it for yourself. Maybe it's time that you ask for a divorce. And let me know how it goes. Thank you for joining us at Our Healer TV. Every week we drop a new episode. And I hope to see you on the next one. Like, share, don't forget. Have a beautiful day.